Hello guys, welcome to the basics of trading, basics of technical analysis 101. Today we're going to proceed with our class. Yesterday, to give you a recap, we focused on the market structure, that the market moves in series of highs and lows. That's what we have been dealing with. So this is our market. So this is an uptrend, and then we have something like that, which is a downtrend. So I want us to focus on the fact that I gave you before I left. I told you guys a term. I said buy low, sell high. So that's buy low and sell high. So every trader in the world are trying to identify the lows and the highs in order for them to do market execution, or using buy limit and buy stops and all that. So every trader using a very different kind of a strategy. They're trying to identify these highs and these lows. So to identify these highs and the lows, we have the tools that we use to do this. So we got something called the trend line. I guess you all know that. So that's a trend line. That's what we call trend line. So we have something called the trend line, and we have also the supply and demand. The supply and demand. So I can just write there supply and demand. So we use two theories, supply and demand, and also the trend lines. Trend lines and supply and demand. And also this big term that you also need to know, which is support and resistance. I'll make a class just to talk about support and resistance alone, but today I want us to focus on one of these. So I'm going to actually start to show you the trend lines. Today I'm going to teach you about the trend lines, how to use trend line to identify your highs and the lows. So let me clear everything. Let me clear everything right there. All right, this is what I have. So buy low, sell high. So let's speak about a market that is actually trending to the upside. So it gives us a high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, just like that. So this is a market that is trending to the upside. So in order to identify these, the lows and the highs, you have to use a trend line. So how do you draw a trend line? What you need to do, you need to pick up a first point, make sure you attach it to the second point, and adjust your line, just like that. You push it. This is just on a whiteboard, but I'm also going to show you on the real chart. So this is something that you'll have to have. Let me try to use another thing because this line is hectic. Let me undo this quickly. Okay, fine. Let me draw for you. So we have the high lows, high lows, high lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher lows, higher high. So this is something like that. So when you use a trend line, this is what you need to do. Yeah, I got something like that. So you just need to identify two lows that you can, two higher lows that you can. Your first two higher lows right there. They will automatically identify other high lows that you're gonna get in front. So this is how it is. So this is my higher low. Like I said yesterday, this is my higher low right there, higher low right there, higher low right there. So the market actually identifies for you, or automatically for you guys, the higher lows and the higher high. So what happens is that the market will actually come back to retest that previous like line or the trend line, so that it shows you that higher low right there, that higher low right there. So when we say that you need to buy low and sell high, it means that when you are on an uptrend, When the market is uptrending or when the market is bullish, what you do, you need to identify these higher lows and come and put your buys right here. So that's how it is. You come and put your buys at every area like that, just like that. Every higher low that you see, you're going to put your buys right there. You put your buys right there. That's how it is. So other people, when they use these trend lines and all that, they actually come here and sell their highs right here. But I am telling you the most precise thing that you can ever do with these trend lines in order to identify the right points, you need to use the higher lows to buy. Always when you identify that the market is actually trending to the upside, all that you need to do, you just need to identify your higher lows. Identify your higher lows. Every time when the market is trending to the upside, identify your higher lows, identify your higher lows, identify your higher lows. Then you buy exactly at that touch, at the higher low, you buy at the higher lows. That's what you do. So you don't have to come here and sell right here at your higher highs, because there's a possibility that when you come to sell right here, the market may not come back to give you a higher low right there. Maybe it may stuck right here and push to the upside. So it's gonna hit your stop loss. So the best way you can trade this, if you see an uptrend, why then do you want to sell the market that is trending out to the upside? What you need to make sure is that you need to flow with the trend. What they say trend is your friend. Your trend is your friend. So that's how it is. We don't fight the trend. We don't fight the market makers. We actually flow with them. So you're going to look for these higher lows, look for these higher lows, then you put your buys, look for these higher lows, then you put your buys. That's how you're going to actually do this. So let me erase everything and show you how you trade the downtrend. Let me show you. So this is what you do. So you have a high, you have a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low. That's what you have. So when the market is actually trending to the downside, so what you have right here, you have a market that is trending to the downside. So that's a downtrend. Or let me just join them. So you have a downtrend right here. So what you need to do, you need to identify your lower highs right here so that you can be able to sell. So that's what you have to do. So let's use a trend line and see if it can actually identify those areas. Just pick a point, then you just adjust from there. You just adjust your trend. So that's what you do. You adjust your trend as long as, if you can look at it right here. Let me just try to adjust for you. So that's the first point, first touch, second touch. So the third touch automatically will touch right there. So you just need to adjust it like that on your charts. Yes, right here is just schematics, but if you use it on your real charts, what you're going to see, you're going to identify the areas where the market is actually touching those areas. Okay, guys, I actually took a small break. So what I want to show you right here, I was still telling you that every time when you use this trend line, you identify your higher lows, you identify your higher lows right there, you identify your higher low right here, you identify your higher low right here. Let me show you that. So you're identifying, so you're trying to use the trend line to identify your higher lows. So what do you do with your lower highs? Sorry. What do you do with your lower highs? You sell your lower highs. You sell your lower highs. So as long as it's a high, it has to be sold. As long as it's a high on the downtrend, it has to be sold. It has to be sold. So immediately when you see the market that is trending to the downside, all you need to do, you need to look for selling opportunities. Selling opportunities. So right here, I'm actually showing you the market that is actually trending to the downside, showing us opportunities to sell. So every time this market comes back to touch that trend line, you just have to know that this is my lower high. This is my lower high right there. This is my lower high right there. So every time the market touches that trend line, traders who actually use trend line, they actually sell every time they get a touch. And their favorite is actually this third touch. They believe that the third touch has a high probability of actually confirming or going their way. So that's how this one is traded. So this is the first two, guys, that I'm showing you that we use to identify the lower highs on the downtrend and to identify the higher lows on the uptrend. So whatever that you are doing right in this market, you're buying low, you're buying when the market is low, when the price of the market is low, and you're selling when the price is high. So when the market is trending down on the downside, what we do, we identify the highest point, lower highs that were being given, so that we sell the market at that price, at that high price. So market comes to the low price, low price. You don't do anything at the low price. You can't come here and sell at the low price, even though you're on a downtrend. You wait for a lower high so that you sell at that area. So that's what we're actually doing. So that's how we actually trade these things using a trend line. So on the next video, I'm actually going to show you how to use the supply and demand or support and resistance. I'm actually going to cover that area, or how you can actually use that tool to identify your lower highs and your higher lows, so that you can see how your trading progresses from here. So yeah, before I actually leave you guys, I want to show you something that is very important in the market. So I showed you last week about the market that is actually trending to the upside. Let me draw for you. So this is a market that you have. You have a market that is giving you higher lows and higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and the higher lows, higher highs, and the higher lows, something like that. Forgive my drawing. I will actually undo that. Yes, that's my higher high right here. Higher low, higher high. So this is something that you have. So I want to tell you something. You need to know, when does the market actually change its trend. So when the market wants to change its trend, it will have to actually come and tell you how it has to do that. The market makers cannot just decide out of nowhere to change the market trend without actually telling the traders what they're doing. So what the market makers will do, they will drop the charts to the downside, the candlestick to the downside, so that it breaks this previous low, higher low right here. Let me just label it so that you can see it. This previous higher low right here. I'm gonna label that only so that you see that level. So this is a level of a higher low. So if you see the market actually breaking that area right there, it will have to come back a little bit right there and retest is that higher low right there and push to the downside. Then you can confirm that this is my first 1, 2, 3. Let me show you. This is my first. That's my first 1, 2, 3. That's what we have. So that's your first 1, 2, 3 that the market actually gives. So before the market actually keeps on pushing or changing its direction or changing its trend, it actually has to give you 1, 2, 3. So this 1, 2, 3 is actually showing you when the market is actually reversing its trend. So it gives you something like a head and shoulder. So that's what you can see in the chart. So the market will do this, and then of course we all know that the market has to come back right here and give us a higher low and shoot to the downside, come back right here, give us a lower high, sorry. So because we are going down, so every high that we get, it has to be low. So we're getting our lower highs right there, market shoots the downside, we get our new lower high right here, then market shoots. So every time when the market gives us this area, we sell. Every time market gives us this area, we sell. Every time market gives us this area, we sell. So right here on the uptrend, every time the market gives us right this area, the high low, we sell, we buy. So we're buying goes in an uptrend. So every time you give us a higher low, we buy, a higher low, we buy, up until right here. Then we change the trend, then we start selling. So this is what you do. The first thing that you need to do, you need to be able to identify the trend. So the first thing that you do, if you want to be good in your trading, you identify your trend. You identify your trend. If you're trading, you have been trading without a trend, that is the problem. That might be one of the reasons why you will lose a lot of money in the market. So you need to first identify your trends. That's your first step. So without a trend, you cannot actually trade the market well with technical analysis, because we follow the trend. We use the trend to identify our entries and our take profits and all that. So you need to be able to identify your trend. So the second thing, you need to be able to identify another area again, which is your lows when you want to buy. Your lows when you want to buy. Let me just put a bracket. Lows when you want to buy, and your highs when you want to sell. So that's how it is, guys. Please don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel. It will be a pleasure to have you on board. If you want to join our free Telegram group where you get free signals and free market analysis on NAS 100, US 30, GER 30, and SP 500, you can actually join the link below. I'll be post the link on the description box, and you can actually join them. Have a good day. Bye.